These 5 home improvement tips have given my clients awesome returns on their money invested. And if you're listing your home soon, these are the best improvements to focus on. Hi, it's Russ with the Mortlock Real Estate Group. The question home sellers always ask is, what repairs or improvements should I do so my home to maximize that value? And doing all those big ticket items don't always put more money back into your pocket. So where do you start? Here's some feedback that I get from my clients when I'm actively showing them properties. They're either wanting to put all the sweat equity into it themselves, or they want it totally turnkey. Very rarely do I find people who kind of sit on the fence or in the middle that they're looking to purchase a home where, hey, I just want a little bit of renovations and then I can finish the rest. Quite commonly, I find people who either want it completely finished or they want to do the renovations themselves. So that being said, where do you actually focus on? So my advice to all my clients is just to make sure that you complete the renovations you start. We've all seen those homes where the upstairs is completely updated. You head downstairs and it's a blast to the past. At the start of the renovation process, you must decide and stick to what you're going to do. Because as you go along the way, there's going to be many different things that you think of doing or that might kind of spark some interest. But are these going to actually make the most amount of money back when you do those renovations? And is it going to be worth it? I think we've all been there when we're renovating a home and you're living in it. It is a huge pain. And do you need any added extra stress? Well, let's dive in. Let's see exactly what home improvement tips I recommend you guys do. So this isn't my first tip to start off, but everyone knows flooring is important. I get that almost all the times from buyers. And what we're seeing right now is people are really liking the vinyl plank flooring. I'm not saying that carpet's a thing of the past or that you can't use it in your home, but what I'm seeing right now is a lot of people are requesting to have that vinyl plank flooring throughout the home. So this isn't my first tip to start us off, but if you are going to do the flooring, make sure you do it throughout the house. Nothing that we hate more is than when you go to a home and you see they used a flooring in here 5 years ago and then they couldn't get that flooring anymore. So when they went to the kitchen to do some different flooring, make it consistent. Whatever you choose, make sure you do it throughout the home and you do it in each of the rooms, the style that you choose. Tip number 1 is having a plan. And in this plan, you need to decide a budget. And you have to stick to that budget and make sure you factor in a bit of allowance for potentially going over that. So if you only have $5,000 to work with to freshen up your home, putting in those new kitchen countertops may not be the best area to focus. Let's look at some smaller tasks that more cost effectively that can just brighten up the overall home without putting a major dent into that, whatever you guys estimate you have to spend. Because a lot of times doing some of these updates, you won't actually see that return back when you sell your home. Okay, tip number 2. These are the areas of the home that you want to focus on that will get the most return on your investment when you're going to do some major renovations. First off is the kitchen. Families, this is the biggest selling feature of almost every home is the kitchen. And if it's updated and you have the money and budget to do it, we highly recommend putting kitchen as number 1. The next is the bathrooms. Bathrooms are another huge selling feature of the home. And if you're going to update one, we recommend that you update all the bathrooms. Keep it consistent. Whatever you're going to do, make sure you tackle and finish it through. The next space of the house that you need to focus on is the master bedroom. If you're going to update one of the bedrooms, we recommend that it be the master because that's where the decision makers are going to be sleeping. And then finally, the living space. We always see that in homes. There's going to be spaces or a living room downstairs or upstairs that the family doesn't really hang out in. But if there's one space that you can focus on is update one of the living spaces completely through that you think people are going to be spending the most space in. Where the family's going to hang out, potentially watch TV, those are the spaces you need to focus on. Tip number 3 is paint. And this is quite basic. You see a lot of times people want to modern and freshen up their home. But with that being said, if all of a sudden you're putting those modern colors, you've painted the cabinets white, you've done all this, well, then you might have to paint all the trim. You might have to change all the doors or paint all the doors. So just keep in mind that you stick with the style of the home without having to do too much to it. You want to modernize it and update it, but a lot of times if you have a brand new white kitchen and then all throughout the house there's going to be oak doors, oak baseboards, well, that doesn't really make sense. So make sure when you're thinking of color schemes and painting, you keep this in mind. One thing that people often forget is brightening up the space. One way you can do this is actually painting the ceilings. A lot of people forget about this when they're going to list their home. They just worry about updating the painting colors. They do this, they do that. When putting a fresh coat of white paint on the ceiling will actually bring a lot of nice light and brighten it up all throughout the home. Tip number 4 is landscaping. And this might be the easiest task to take on for most people back home. Having your outside area very presentable for when people come first into the home is an easy way to get that initial interest for buyers who are looking to put an offer on your place. And tip number 5, this might seem very, very basic, but LED lighting. You can get LED bulbs now for a pretty good price, not like what they used to be when they're super expensive. And we highly recommend, as just a quick, easy fix to brighten up the space, is changing all the light bulbs over to an LED lighting. And if you're looking for the most cost-effective ways to add more money into your pocket when doing renovations, reach out to me directly. With my background as a tradesman, I've been part of quite a few different home renovation aspects, so I can share some insight on the best ways to put more money into your pockets.